What's going on? What's going on? Brutus here, bringing you a base building tip video. It was probably the largest requested that I have yet to put up, and I'm really sorry and grateful for the patience. A little bit of some disclaimers. I am not the best base builder ever, not even close. But I am part of a great clan, One Hive, that has a great base building team. And the base that we're looking at was built by Gianni and given to me for a war. I believe it was against the Dark Knights, who are Above and Beyond. I think it was Above and Beyond. And it held or defended 4 times, I think. Yeah, 4 times. So it's the goal of this is for me to just give a high-level overview of some base building advice from things that from my personal experiences throughout the game, little tips that I pick up from listening to others and watching others, as well as watching the own bases defend or fail to defend. With that said, let's get down right into it. First off, there's no such thing as a anti one element base. If you make something anti-air, they're just going to ground attack you, and so on and so forth. So whenever you're deciding to make a base, you really want to try to make a base that is anti-everything, if there ever is such a thing. The last disclaimer on this is you need to accept that every base can be cleared without third-party applications. I guarantee it. From Town Hall 1 to Town Hall 11, every base can be 3-starred. So really the goal, and I'm going to focus at Town Hall 9 for this, the goal of the Town Hall 9 nowadays is to at least get 1 defend. And the reason why you want 1 defend is it robs scouts upwards for Town Hall 10s who could really use that to clear Town Hall 10s where it's not as easy. So the more your Town Hall 9 defends, the harder it is for the enemy clan to win, because they have less scouts to enable the higher percentage to clear Town Hall 10, so on and so forth. Therein lies, again, the beauty of this base that defended 4 times, robbing for scouts. All right, so let's talk about first placement of the layout of the base, right? Where should you put your queen? So looking at this one, you want your archer queen placed at least 3 tiles from any wall. And seeing how, let's go ahead and just start right here. Each structure like this is 3 by 3. She's right here, so if you count 3 by 3 in any direction, there's a structure in the place. This one's 4 tiles. The 3 by 3 space does not include the wall. So the reason why you want to do this is primarily it makes the attacker have to invest a bit more to get the queen on entry or something like that, where she doesn't really hop the wall as well. So for an example, it's not so much the front right side right here. It's really more so this side right here. The queen most likely will not hop this wall into this compartment and this compartment. And therein lies if an attacker had a spell investment of a jump here, or even a jump in this direction, and they started to head this way, or a jump down here, she is not going to hop into these compartments as we clear the markup. And that is the reason for making sure that you place your queen wherever you decide her to, no less than 3 tiles from any wall, specifically the back end like that. You want them to force a couple of spells to get to her. The other part is so there's the queen. Let's talk about the barbarian king. The barbarian king is a very useful troop. He's basically going to protect an element of your base, whether that be the queen. In this setup, his job is to protect or at least force the attacker to invest more on the kill squad push, or invest more to the objective of taking out the queen, which then takes away from the main attacking force or the main attacking army, whether that be loons or hogs. So in this aspect, the BK's job is to ensure that there's more investment needed for the queen and to protect her, basically. You can also be placed way over here. I'm not saying it's a good placement, but I'm just saying he can be placed way over here or even here, where his job is to protect an air defense. Or quite commonly, some people do it, is that let's pretend this is a spot where the BK is. Usually he can be, sometimes he's around DGB locations, and they do that on purpose to make sure that the DGB doesn't get tripped in that aspect. So basically, what do you want your BK to do? What portion of the base is he defending? Is he defending an air defense, the queen, or a DGB spot? In this one, we're defending the AQ or making the attacker make a decision to invest more to get to the queen. All right, so let's talk about air defenses. Right here, look at these things. So really what this is, with the air defense placement, you don't want your air defenses close enough to each other that for the cost of a queen charge, so 56 troop space, maybe 60 because of 3 wall breakers, with a queen charge to get in there, let's pretend like the queen comes from right here. If they wall breaker this with 4 healers behind, the queen will get this and this, but this is more than 5 tiles away, so she will not get this from this wall. She won't hit this, and if we went this way, she won't get this air defense as well. She'll only get 1. So the takeaway is, when you're base building and placing your air defenses down, make sure that their air defenses are not within reach for a 1 kill squad push or a queen charge push that can get 2 air defenses from 1 action like that. This right here is could be suspect. These 2 are as we clear markup again, these 2 would be an illustration of that, right? But if these 2 go down, he is then faced with 2 sweepers both ways. This air defense is also covering. No, it's not covering. He still has to deal with the archer queen, which is crucial for take an air defense, a Lalo or something like that. So pretend he puts his kill squad this way. He has to deal with the BK and the archer queen and like 3-point defenses, actually 4-point defenses in order to get the queen. And if he doesn't get that, that's a failed attack. So the increased risk to not get two birds for 1 stone is illustrated in this. So we're done with this markup. Let's talk about DGB locations. And that really has to do with the entire base, right? You need no less than 3 realistic DGB locations, double giant bomb locations. I said realistic on purpose. Could this be a DGB location? Absolutely. Realistically, it's not a good one because of the way that this is all set up right here. This is a good realistic situation. We'll go ahead and switch this out. This is a good DGB. So we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4 DGB locations. So whenever you're setting it up, like usually the downfall of the internet anti-3 bases that are on there, most likely is they only have 2 probable or realistic DGB locations. So keep in mind you need at least 3 in order for that to be a good risk to anybody thinking twice about hogging it. So we'll clear this markup. Let's talk about the outside trash ring. So anti-Valk. So far we've talked about setting up your base, how to defend against walks, how to make a defender make a choice to how heavy he has to invest in order to get a critical objective of the base, whether that be 2 air defenses on 1 entry or a queen and an air defense as well. And if you notice, if he entered this way, he wouldn't get an air defense and an archer queen unless he entered pretty heavily or invested pretty heavily on the kill squad in order to do that. So let's talk about trash rings, Valk attacks, right? So for Valk attacks, the key is compartments as well as how big they are and how many you have. This one is, you want it more than an EQ range. So the EQ is an 8-tile range. The core is a big part of that. This is more than 8 tiles, so that really takes away from EQing that section. Same thing with this section. All of these actually. If he EQs any section of this, he does not get any as much bang for his buck, even going this way. But a double jump is still there. So a queen, a Vaho, double jump Vaho is still a pretty good thing here, and that's really hard to defend against. But for mass Valkyries and Valkyries in general, you want to keep compartments. Usually you need about at least 10 compartments, on your base in total. As we clear this mark up, can't talk straight. But make sure that you have some good portions, especially the core, that the tile size of your base is at least 8, so that it prevents anybody, actually more than 8, so 9, so that it prevents the EQ for a portion there. It makes them have to invest in 2 jumps if they decide to do that. So with we were talking about 10 compartments. So compartments here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Check. You need at least 10 compartments in there to really help increase the risk of Valk attacks, right? The other thing that really helps with this, as we clear the mark up, is the trash ring around the sides. You know, obviously you want them in a ring like this to help them circle the base, but you want the corners is what I really wanted to talk about. If you put buildings like this touching each other on the corners, like that, and you know, you got to be careful. And this one's touching each other, and this one's touching each other. When you do something like this with even this tile right here, when you do something like this where you put the trash ring outside of the wall of the base with structures touching each other, it's like crack for Valkyries. They can't resist that. So let's pretend hypothetically his Valkyries head this way. They get into this compartment and they start beating all this stuff down. Right? You know, right? Boom, down goes Frasier. On the way in, this will probably still stay up, but there's nothing in this compartment touching each other unless these Teslas pop up. But on the outside here, they are. So where would they go next? Rather than going here, there's a chance they'll go outside of the base and circle the base. That's what you want as a deterrent, one aspect of base building, to help defend or increase the risk to not succeed for Valkyrie attacks. Clearing up this markup, let's talk about, you know, someone asked like HGHB. It's funny because that's actually what cleared this base, but after one HGHB failed, it's really hard to say what can defend against HGHB. If you incorporate these elements that we've been talking through, that only helps defend against it. I wish there was a this is what you got to do, like, you know, like hog attacks where we're like, you need at least 3 double giant bomb locations, and that's the way to stop hogs. If anybody's really good with pathing hogs, it don't matter where your bombs are, they're gonna get it. So with that same mentality in mind, what you want to do is basically try to use springs, really well placed springs, almost as if you, much how you would with hogs still, but you really want the sweeper to help you out. So with the HDHB, if they entered through here, there's a couple of sections that the way that the giants would go. They would go that way, they could go that way. Unless he uses a jump, again, a spell investment, more than likely they wouldn't. They'd use a rage right here, but they really can't control which way they would go. If the giants went this way or even this way, the sweeper is going to push back those healers from this direction. And if they entered this way, well, actually it'd be on this cannon. Enter in here and then they head that way, the sweeper is going to push back the healers as well. Does it stop them 100%? Absolutely not. But that's the only thing that really slows down HGHB is well-placed springs, much like you would with hogs, as well as defending an HGH or a queen charge. Kind of the same mentality where you have the sweeper blowing back on the healers for that couple of few seconds to stop the healing effect to the tankage or the queen that's walking. Clean markup on this. Last but not least, we got traps. So let's talk about Black Sams first, and then we'll talk about Teslas, and then we'll call it a video. And then hopefully I can get some base building team members on here, and we can talk about other aspects from the experts themselves. I just wanted to put this up here as a good starting point. So Black Sams, the talk about, because they trigger because they trigger healers trigger the bombs, and should you like keep them a little bit towards the edge? My answer is no. My experiences that I've seen, is it helpful? Sure. But it's not worth the risk. It's not worth the trade-off that you do for, especially with pentas nowadays and with cold blood on the rise. I just don't see the return on investment. It's better to double trap 2 well-placed ADs to prevent against those types of things. So on this one, you can see where they are. They're right here and here. You do want to double stack 2 of them in case on a walk or something like that they get taken care of. Looking the way that this is laid out, in order to do a proper Bolalo, Shattered, or Cold Blood Lalo, they're going to have to get the Queen as well as one of these air defenses, right? So if they're entering this way, if they get this air defense and this air defense, I still have one with double trapped. Same thing with if they get this air defense and this one, I still have this one that's double trapped. So that's the reason why you want to double trap 2 of them. Make sure that they're for the hounds. When you do that, make sure that your wizard towers are not covering the air defenses. As you see, like up here, none of these wizard towers cover the air defense, and that's to do work on loons on the way in. Your regular air mines here, you don't want them. The path that a hound would take on its way to an air defense, you don't want them there. So if I send a hound like this, these air traps would not be triggered, and if they send it like this, more than likely, these air traps are not going to be triggered. You see that? So that's what you're looking for. You do want them to be around defensive structures. Defensive structures for basically loons that are incoming, which segues to the last portion of air defense and air traps and preventing against Lalos. You do want at least 2 stop points in front of an air defense. What do I mean by that? Is defensive structures. A reason that your loons would stop and hover and be on their way to the hound. Meanwhile, that hound's time is ticking away and soon to bust. So if we look at this base setup, the loons would take this and then they'd move down to this before they ever go to this air defense. See the space right here? This structure is closer than that structure. Down here with the same thing. This structure is closer than that structure. So if the loons come this way, they stop once and twice, and actually would go 3 times. Coming down this way, they have to stop a ton of times, at least twice. Loons coming this way have to stop at least twice. That's what you want in order to really help mitigate air attacks or make them think twice. So clear markup on that. Tesla farms and single bombs or small bombs. So Tesla farms, there's a couple of things you can do with them. The ultimate goal with them, though, is they're most effectively used on a majority of bases whenever they're in a farm setup. Because they do at least, I think it's 80 thereabouts DPS, you do it times 4 and it's 320 damage per second per shot. 320. That means after 2 shots, a loon is falling down. So every 2 seconds, 1 loon goes down, 2nd loon goes down, 3rd loon goes down, and it's that quick because that's about 2 seconds in between each statement right there. So Tesla farm right here is unexpected. They do protect the queen in case they wanted to enter this way. A lot of people would look at this wizard farm over here as a great way to enter and put a jump right here, or not a jump, but just basically a great way to enter because there's not as much point defense and splash defense. And then this Tesla farm would surprise them basically. Same thing with Lalo. If they if they come in this way, actually I would never come in this way for a Lalo, but if basically you want them to be a surprise. If you can, sometimes if you put them around an air defense like this, or down in this section, like 1 and then 1, 2, 3 and then 4. They sometimes really quickly bring down the hound because again, it's like 320 DPS and that's almost like an air defense shot. And that's another way to kind of look at them. That's the best advice I can give you for that. Again, I'm not the best, I'm sorry. And I definitely don't claim to be a know-it-all on this stuff. Last things are the small bombs. Small bombs, you want them to either enable a wall breaker fail. So you don't put the bomb right next to the wall. You put it 1 tile out. one tile out, so that when they send their wall breakers, they get triggered on the way in, and then they blow up before the wall breakers can go off, and there's a wall breaker fail. Here's one right down here. That is one tile away from the wall. And then I think I got one more. I can't really find it. Here's the other one. So where to place them? Basically, after the small bombs are the last things I place on. The traps are the last things I put on the base. So there's two ways you can use it: wall breaker fail. Where to decide where to put that? I honestly look at the base and I decide how I would hit it. I'm like, okay, so if I do this angle in this direction, where would I put my wall breaker? You know, look at where the point defenses are. If someone put a golem right here, then it would catch this point defense, that one, and that one. And so while everything's shooting this way, I naturally would send a wall breaker right there or right here. You know, it basically envision a golem hitting the wall. Where would it be strategically placed? And then place your bomb away from the wall in the alley that a wall breaker would go. And that's the best advice I have for that. The last one that we can use it for are ghetto DGPs. They do matter. I mean, they do something. They ain't gonna exactly stop a herd, but they soften up the herd coming in so that a simultaneous splash from a mortar or a splash from a wizard tower nearby would basically finish them off. So don't knock the ghetto DGPs. Here's one right here. And another reason that when deciding where to put your DGBs, my last thought I want to say about this is that it is commonly known and bases tend to go this way, that you have this triangle going on towards a queen. So as an attacker, you kind of keep that in mind. It just bases kind of end up looking this way, that the DGBs tend to be in a triangle. So if you can put it way far away like this, but yet not able to be removed or mitigated from a walk or an entry or something like that, that's what you want to go with. So clear markup. I hope those I guess for me, my last tip was trolling. I, for some reason, decided to buy every flag that the game offers, and they're so useless. I should sell them and just get my elixir back. However, I like to pretend that there's Teslas here. Watch, people are going to attack in arranged wars, and they know I'm not going to put anything here. I should actually put troll Teslas now. But I like to put spaces there, so it makes them think that there's troll Teslas there. Anything I can do to mess with the psyche of an attacker, do it. I guarantee it. Because if you can put somebody uncomfortable, think about anything you do in life. Anything. If you're comfortable doing it and confident, you're usually successful. If you're not, if you're nervous, thinking twice, doubtful, you usually don't meet the potential that's within you. Anything in life. So this is really just psychological warfare. Enjoy. Anyway, those are my tips. I probably didn't cover them all. That's just some tips to get it started. My goal is to get someone from the base building team of One Hive to join me on a Twidless session and provide their expertise that I grew from, basically, on some of the points that we've talked through as well. Hopefully those are helpful for you. Once again, it's Brutus reminding you, you got to be better than the double, and I will check you next time.